Something I learned very early on in my politics is either A, don't put yourself in the story in the first place, right? So if a reporter calls and wants to comment on something, no comment. Or B, if you're already in the story, shut up. Right? Stop talking about it. Stop egging it on. You have, the NBC News talking about the Bondi frustration, noting some White House officials and outside Trump allies remain frustrated with Attorney General Bondi's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein saga of the past 2 weeks, seeing the issue as a problem largely of the DOJ's creation, which the AG should be doing more to solve. But she can't, because the president keeps feeding the beast. So it makes it harder for her to dial down the noise. It's not just, to Brandy's point, of, oh, here are the documents, because there's a lot of ripple effect to that. How do you see this part of it playing out, given that Trump now has upped the ante, leveled up with a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal, continues to talk about this, and yet everyone's looking at Pam Bondi to shut it down by releasing the documents?
If we take the Steele rule of either no comment or shut the heck up, that's not Donald Trump. It never is. He seems to be doing everything possible to suggest there's some wrongdoing that may involve him, may involve others. It looks like a cover-up. He's telling people there's nothing there, after all his people and himself for years have pointed to the Epstein files as the Rosetta Stone of proving this grand conspiracy theory of Satanists and pedophiles and sex traffickers really being in control of the government, the QAnon conspiracy theory and the Pizzagate theory that Brandy just referenced. It's kind of weird to watch him keep coming back to this and making it look like he's guilty of something. And once you get, and I think Brandy gets into this in her piece. Once you get into this issue of we're going to release things, well, then if you don't release everything, you're going to be accused of running a cover-up, right? This is grand jury testimony. Even now, when they say they're going to release the grand jury testimony, they're saying it will only be credible stuff that we release. There probably will be redactions. And the grand jury testimony is just a small slice of all the investigative records that the Justice Department and the FBI and Florida police gathered over the course of 2 investigations of Donald Trump. So if you just put out the grand jury testimony with part of it redacted, the MAGA conspiracy nutters are still going to say, you're not giving us everything. So they're really in a situation where there's no way out, especially if Trump keeps talking about it.
Anthony Coley, I do think it's important to remind people, because the president yesterday and again today alluded to that this has been conjured up by the Democrats and people who do not support him. This was the crimes of Jeffrey Epstein were real. So real that it was the first Trump administration Justice Department that charged and arrested Jeffrey Epstein in 2019, in July of 2019. Now, he later died by suicide in August of 2019. But Ghislaine Maxwell is literally sitting in jail as we speak, awaiting trial for these very real crimes. There are victims associated with this story. There is trauma that is being dredged back up that, frankly, Brandy alluded to in her opening comments as we talk about this. How do you've worked in the Justice Department before, but you've also worked for a number of different politicians. The handling of this story is what we call an unforced error.
Right. Listen, Donald Trump is using the left to take attention from the right, so the right won't focus on him. That's what he's doing here. At his core, this is a classic distraction technique. He really wants to find a way. I think he believes, Simone, that whatever he tells MAGA to do, that they'll do, that they won't look at the facts, that he can just make America gullible again.